You're winning. You're winning. You're winning. You're winning. All right, guys, we are continuing our evening of champions and beautiful, strong, amazing women. Welcome to another episode of Epic Understanding. I'm your host, Coach Love, but really we're just continuing the evening. I gotta say, how often do you get to hang out with an Olympian? Well, how often do you get to hang out with an Olympic gold medalist? Well, tonight is your night. Tonight is your night for having a lot of fun. Welcome. How are you doing, Carlette?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Great. I have for you Olympic gold medalist Carlette Guidry. How many times did you go to the Olympics?
I went in 1992 and 1996.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I, you, you're simply world class. That's it.
Well, thank you.
I hope to one day do something that well where I am known to be world class because it's one thing to be really good at something, but to run the test of time to be the best for that moment in exactly what you're doing is fantastic.
Thank you so much for those kind words. Thank you.
Well, it would be kind, but they're also facts.
Yes, they are.
It's just a fact, and to your credit, you are continuing that legacy with your daughter. Your daughter is a track star too,
Yes,
right?
she is. She's up and coming. She's very new at running track. This in the last 2 years, she was mostly playing volleyball, and then decided her junior year in high school that she wanted to run track. So she's been doing very well. She plays really high at the 6A state track meet here in Texas, and just very happy and very pleased for her. She's going to continue on running track and field on scholarship at the University of Houston.
Oh, that is 100% fabulous. Now, even though you managed to be this superstar Olympian gold medalist, it wasn't always that way for you.
Oh no, not really, not at all. When I decided that I wanted to run track and field, I wasn't very good, very talented at all. I had to really work hard at it and really had to, as you so say, perfect my craft, so to speak. And it was a lot of hard training and a lot of determination on my end. Yes, I was not. I didn't start out running and winning gold medals and winning races. I was pretty slow at the time when I first started.
Okay. And so what gave you the oomph, the gumption to keep pushing through those challenging times?
I think for me at an early age, my mom was a single mom for a while, and she did what she could do for us, for me and my brother, but she did a really good job. But I knew that I wanted something different for myself, and I wanted more. And I actually watched the Wilma Rudolph story about Wilma Rudolph, who's an Olympic gold medalist, and she overcame polio to become an Olympic star. And that's something I just fell in love with her story, and I wanted to run track and field. And I just kept working at it. Like I said, I wasn't good at it, but kept working at it, and I got better and better. By the time I got to middle school, I was really good, very talented, was winning a lot of my races, running, jumping, doing all that. And I decided that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Not the rest of my life, but I wanted to go to the Olympics, and I wanted to have something that would get me out from where I was. It was a start to a beginning to where I am now.
Wow. I definitely want to hear about the early days in your story, but I want to work on something with you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am hearing a lot of popping.
Okay.
I don't know if you hear that. And so maybe if you adjust something and then come back, leave and come back in. Well, no, it's not the picture, it's the sound quality. It's
Okay.
popping. So maybe leave and come back, and maybe we can adjust that, and
Okay.
we'll be here waiting on you.
Okay. So
Okay.
I'll just exit out and come back in.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Sounds good.
Uh-huh.
All
All
right.
right. Awesome. So, guys, while Carlette, the Olympian, the gold medalist, is working on her sound, I wanna just talk with you about some things that we have coming up. So, we have here the Men's Mental Health Summit coming up on June 18th. I'm very excited about that. 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Look at all the talent that we have. We have CEOs, we have um, TikTok stars, we have a Amazon affiliate executive, we have educational leaders, we just amazing professionals. Now, I wish I could say that we're going to have Chris Rock and Vladimir Putin, coming, but I'm afraid they're not going to hang out with us. But the reason why they're on the flyer is because I think they represent uh, two types of masculinity. And I think it's fascinating um, from an educational standpoint, watching them navigate their world. Chris Rock had the face slap that was heard around the world. And Vladimir Putin is, acting with aggression um, for his own desires. So while we have a man that I admire in Chris Rock that was able to keep his composure while aggression was being forced upon him, we have Vladimir Putin who is using his aggression to conquer um, other nations. And so that's why they're hanging out there, because I think that their way of approaching masculinity is very different. And then we also have on June 12th, we have the Juneteenth Expo, talking about Juneteenth, educating people about what Juneteenth is. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, but essentially, Juneteenth is when the last slaves in America were informed that they were no longer slaves. And the North had enough strength and wherewithal to defend that position. So that is a pretty important day. June 19th is an important day, and we're going to have an expo to usher that in on June 12th. This year, June 19th actually is Father's Day. So we want to make sure we give Juneteenth uh, the light and space that it needs in order to shine. If you are interested in being a part of that expo, please do reach out to me at info@epicunderstanding.com. And guess who's back, family? Guess who's back? Carlette is back. Let's hear you. Let's hear your sound.
Hopefully this is better.
It is better. Wow. I
Okay.
just,
Yes.
I just think it was a bad connection.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
That's what I think it is. Sometimes it just does that. If you go out and come back in, well, pow, here you go. So, um, we were having our conversation, and you were just kind of letting me know your journey
Mhm.
um, a little bit. You're you're the oldest. You're like 9 years older than your brother. Is that
Yes,
right?
I am 9 years older. Correct.
Okay. And so your mom had you, and she met your dad. He's your actual dad, but and he raised you. But we're gonna at the time he was your stepdad. Like the
Correct.
bonus dad. He
Yes.
didn't. He's not your biological dad, but he is the one that you love and that you look up to.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
my bonus dad.
There you
Yes.
go.
He. Mhm. Yes.
Exactly. And so. because of that dynamic in the household, you were telling me that you felt like you had something to prove.
Well, basically, I knew that my mom was doing the best that she could do, and I knew that if I wanted to do something different and better myself, that it was up to me, and I had to put those. I'm pretty sure everyone is like that. It's up to you to do what you need to do to become a better you, and that's what
Mhm.
I. That's what I, at a young age, decided that I wanted something better. I wanted to do something different, and I noticed that, like I said before, I wasn't very good at track and field, but I worked very hard at it, and I became good, a good athlete. I played basketball as well, and I ran track. And I didn't know exactly where track was going to take me at a young age, but in middle school, I met someone that was very inspirational to me. Was my middle school coach, Carol Middleton, and she just kind of opened my eyes and showed me how I can open doors for myself through track and field. And from that day, I met her and having that conversation about I can go to college on a track and field scholarship. I just had to buckle down in my books and stay focused on in my craft and really work hard. And that's what I did. And not to say that in the background, but a strong force was my relationship with God as well.
Mhm. That's excellent. That's excellent. Um, I want to talk about why, your relationship with your middle school coach was so important because you moved when you were in middle school.
Yes, well, so in I was very close to my grandmother. Like when my mom had me, she was a single mom for a while. Her and my dad didn't work out because of circumstances. He had some challenges of his own that my mom felt like she needed to have me and her in another safer environment. So I was always with my grandmother, and I grew up with my grandmother. And then my last year in elementary school, my grandmother passed away. So it was
Mm,
a lot of things happened at one time. My grandma passed away, and then my mom had my brother. And then for a better situation for her and my father, my bonus father, should I say, um, decided to move to Houston. And at that point, it was like, oh my God, it's like my world had pretty much ended there. Like my whole environment just changed drastically. I lost my grandmother. I had a new brother to share my mom with, which I didn't mind. I had a new brother to share my mom with. Then I was leaving my environment was comfortable for me. So
mhm,
when I got to, well, I had maybe like a year or two more in elementary school in a different environment, different area, different town, different city. And when I
mhm,
went to middle school, that's when I met my coach. And, I was in gym playing around and she noticed something in me and asked me to try out for the basketball team. And then from
mhm.
there, everything just went up from there. Her encouraging me and inspiring me and showing me that I can do something different with my life. And those goals that I had were obtainable and reachable.
Okay. And you made note in our conversation that you were not as good academically as you were physically.
No, I was not. I had to really work very hard with my academics. There was nights where I had to stay up like 1, 2, or 3 o'clock in the morning. Just getting my math down, getting my English writing papers, getting all those crafts down. So I had to really work hard. Even when I worked hard in getting my scholarship, and even working even harder to keep in my academic scholarship, because as you can't just go to a college and run track and field, play basketball, football, or volleyball, whatever that is. You have to use your mind. They're paying
Mhm,
they're paying for your education for you to go out there and represent their university in an athletic sports. So yeah, I stayed in from all the way up through college. I stayed working very hard. I think I worked harder academically than I did working track and field. And that says
mhm.
a lot because I'm a two-time Olympic gold medalist.
And you want to know something? I highlighted that point because in our conversation, you told me, I said, well, tell me something that you're just extremely proud of. And you said my degree.
Yes, I am. I'm very proud of getting a degree from University of Texas at Austin because I bust my butt. I worked hard to get it, and I had a lot of support behind me to help me. Academic coaches, athletic directors, they were all there to support me as an athlete and as a student, and that's what University of Texas as Austin has always done for their athletes.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, let's jump back into your Olympic journey because I couldn't imagine what it took. What did you have to sacrifice in order to become an Olympian?
Well, I just say I missed a lot of family functions,
Hmm.
a lot of events that was like families going on. Not going out, hanging out with my girlfriends, and going out doing other teenage things such as going to maybe a high school party or doing things like that. But I don't feel like I missed anything because what I gained was so much more. I could always go out and go to a party or go hanging out doing this and doing that, but you only have that one opportunity every 4 years to be an Olympian.
Hmm.
So with me making those sacrifices, I was able to see the world through track and field. I was able even 2 times over. I even was able to go to Yugoslavia before the Civil War began.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was able to go to China, South Africa. So I was able to see a lot of things and experience a lot of things at a young age, which really helped me grow and mature as an adult.
Hmm.
So I
Tell,
don't feel
tell
like I
me.
lost much of anything. I gained more than what I lost.
So, I mean, I would agree, right? But sometimes we have to submit, we have to sacrifice some of those smaller everyday things
Hmm.
so we can become extraordinary. And that's really what I'm getting at. It is okay not to be at every single party or
Yes.
every single function because you have to be really focused.
I think what's hard for some athletes and what makes a top athlete is that you have to be selfish to a certain degree. You have to be able to
Mm.
say, I'm up, but I'm not able to do that right now because this is in my journey. This is where my path is going, and that's just not in the right path for me right now. And I think a lot of the young athletes are learning that now. I know my daughter, for one, she's very new to sports and being in a competitive at a top level, so
Hmm.
she's still learning that. Well, you have to train tomorrow. You cannot go hang out till 10, 11 o'clock at night with your friends. Even at 11 o'clock, you got to get in bed. You got to get that rest up because so you can perform the next day. So as athletes, you do have to be selfish. You do have to make sure. And I think that's not just with an athlete. I think that's somebody who has goals in their lives and a plan put in place. You have to be selfish because if that's not about your plan, if that's not going to benefit you, it's not worth doing that. And sometimes you have to be selfish. You have to make those sacrifices for yourself.
Okay. So did you have to give people boundaries? Did your family really respect your boundaries?
um, yes and no. Those
Okay.
who understood the journey, they was more respectful of the journey, but some of the people that didn't really understand that was on the outside, that's really was my core nuclear family, they didn't understand as much. And I'm pretty sure with any profession, any career, and you have these goals for yourself that you want to achieve, not everybody's going to understand that, and you have to be okay with that within yourself. You know, just like you can't bring everybody along with you. You're not the only one that you have a well that you're going to drink that water from, and not everybody's going to drink from that well. You can't bring everybody along with you. And you have to accept that. And once you accept that and you're okay with that inside, everything else is easier to move forward.
You said a mouthful right there. You really did. Number one, you said everybody's not going to come along with you. And number two, you said you have to be okay
Hmm.
with that.
Hmm. Yes, you do. Yes,
That
you
I
do.
mean, that is hard, and I don't think that everybody gets that point. I think that is one of the unspoken things
Hmm.
about rising to the level where you're supposed to be, about achieving your personal best. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So to achieve your personal best, you might have to let go of the rest. I'm going to rhyme.
Yes. Sometimes that journey is kind. It can be lonely at times. That journey can
Mm,
be lonely at times. But as you grow and as you become more of a professional in your craft, whatever that may be, you'll find like minds just like you, and they'll and and I always believe that God puts people in place in your life for a reason, for a
mm-hmm,
season. And I think with me and my sport, that's what happened to me. I had people in my life for that was going to benefit me as well as me benefiting them. And you just have to move forward with that thought process. And it's not something that happens overnight. It didn't happen to me overnight. I'm talking like it did, but it didn't. I had to grow, and I had to understand that I'm okay with missing this. I'm okay with not doing this because the next week, look what I did. You know, hey, I won a gold medal by making some sacrifices. I'm in college. I got a degree because I made those sacrifices. You may not see them when you do going through the process, but once the process is in fruition, you'll see it. Like when you go through your testimonies in that storm, you don't understand everything, but you keep going through that storm and you be patient. And once you come out of that storm and you see that sunshine, that rainbow, you say, "Oh, this what it was. Okay, I got it. I got it. Maybe next time I can go through that storm and not be as challenging, but I know I can go through it. And I know I can do it. It is achievable."
wow. So I want to talk about really fast before we move to our woman to woman chat. I
Mm-hmm.
want I want to talk about what does it take to stay on your grind before the first win. And what I mean by that is, if you're writing a book,
Uh-huh.
you got to focus. If you are building something, you have to focus. But while you're doing those things, while you are becoming a Olympian, before you reach the point of notoriety,
Mm-hmm.
people act like what you're doing is nothing.
And that's okay because that's them. And I
Hmm.
and you got to remember, you're not responsible for them. You're responsible for yourself.
Hmm.
And to stay on your path and stay where you need to be and be successful, one, write it down. Put it in a journal. That no one has to see that journal. Put it in a journal. So when those times get tough, you go back
Hmm.
and you read those goals and you know this is what I set for myself. This is my plan. Where am I at in my plan? Visualize it. Put it on the board. You know, if you see it, you can achieve it. I totally believe that. And I have journals now where I can go back and I look at it and say, "Ooh, I was really having a tough time there." So basically, you have to know yourself for one. For one, you know yourself, and you have to be okay and be comfortable with where you're at and where you're going, and know that is okay. And go back and look at those things and read those things and see those things. Have a plan. I know you people don't write a book without a plan. You don't write a paper without organizing your paper, thesis, you know,
Hmm.
the mid part, the conclusion. You have all those. That's the same with a goal. It may be bigger and broader, but write it down. Go back when the tough times are there in front of you and read those and know that this is what I set for myself. This is where I'm at. I've achieved this, A, B, C, D. I'm almost there.
Wow. That is, you know what, that it's so simple, but it is so hard to do.
Yeah, it
Just
is.
because it's simple, it doesn't mean
It's not achievable.
that it's easy, you know. And we have to, I think, learn how to drown out the other voices.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Even that voice inside your head, that's you just gotta say stop. Just stop. Say a
Hmm.
prayer. Be still. Just be still. Because those thoughts are gonna come in your head when tough times come up. They will be there. It's not gonna say like everything is gonna be peachy keen. You're gonna do this and it's gonna work. No, but you got to be like I said. I keep going back in. You got to know yourself. You have to know yourself. And a big thing, you gotta love yourself and know that this is what I need to do to achieve my goals.
Wow. Um, what good advice. What you are a wise woman. I'm going to ask you some wise woman questions. I have with us tonight also Anastasia Stevens. She is an author. Um, and she's, you know what, she is quite a champion herself, I must say. Tell us a little bit about what you've been working on, what you've been doing, and some things that you've accomplished.
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and hello, and thank you for having me back. Tag Coach Love, I appreciate it. There's
My
lots happening, right? I am a full-time employee for Cigna during the day. I was actually just accepted into the American Cancer Society's Women's of Hope portrait series for cancer ambassadors, doing some speaking engagements, just trying to get the word out about the evolution.
That is awesome. Okay, but what Anastasia is failing to tell you is that she had cancer. And so she said, "Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a book while I have cancer. And by the way, I'm going to have my son write a book too." Talk about some determination,
Mhm.
you know. And so I am just, look at this greatness that, wait a minute, let me put me in the middle. I want to be surrounded. Look at this greatness that I am surrounded by high achievers, and I love it. I applaud. I applaud both of you ladies, world class Olympian, superwoman, super mom, survivor, thriver, and now you're out here fighting um, for others, which is amazing. Um, now, um, Carlette, you had an amazing relationship with your grandmother
Mhm.
that you navigated early on. Was the relationship with your grandmother and your mother very different? How did what were the pieces like there?
Oh wow. Well, my grandmother, she was the matriarch of the family. And
Mm-hmm.
she was very, I could leave her side, so I could be pretty
Hmm.
biased. But my mom and I relationship was really good too. My mom was a very strong woman, is a very strong woman as well. She worked hard and she showed me that work ethic. And you know, she didn't go. She went to junior college, but she did what she needed to do to take care of my brother and me. She's a very strong woman as well. Very strong will.
I love it. I love it. And Anastasia, tell me about the relationship with your mom, because I know she played a pivotal part for you in your
Yeah.
recovery.
Yeah, my mom, we started out very rocky. I was a daddy's girl as a young lady. And so from, my teenage years, we didn't see eye to eye. It wasn't until I was an adult and had a child of my own that I truly understood her experience and could lean into her wisdom. And even then, it was navigating, I'm a mom, you're a mom, we're both moms, like let's work through that, right? I think now and over the past 5 or 6 years or so, our relationship has changed so much that I appreciate her wisdom. I appreciate her struggles that she had, and even having transparent conversations now of some of the why. I'm bold enough and courageous enough to ask her, well, this is what I experienced. Can you help me understand? What was that for you? Like, help me understand your perspective and how you got there. Having those conversations with her has proven to me to be very beneficial in how I am pouring into my kids. There are things that I love about how she raised me, and there are things that I say, I don't want to do that. I want to do the opposite of that, right? Especially and namely how she raised the difference, in my opinion, between how she raised myself and my brother, right? It said that women kind of raise their daughters and they love their sons, right? And so that dynamic we had to manage, and we're still talking through it, but I love her to death. She was instrumental to getting me through cancer. She was my husband. Don't know what I would have done without them.
Wow. Wow. That is powerful. I continue to appreciate you being transparent with the relationship with you and your mother. I love the way you asked her the question. You say, "This is what I experienced. How did that look from your side?"
Yeah, because I think what we tend to lean into is that our experience is the truth, and it's not. Not always, not the complete truth. It's our truth, but it's not necessarily what they felt. It doesn't indicate what they were going through at the time, the struggles that they were kind of leaning into, what they had already been through. My mom and I shared, I didn't know, she didn't know until my book was written that I had been molested, in my young years. And that opened the door to her sharing some things with me that had happened in her younger years, and how that kind of bridged us. That was something else that we could talk about and grow through and grow emotionally too, right? Because there's a vulnerability that had not been there before that we are now leaning into, right? And now that she's seeing me in a different light, and I think the evolution definitely assisted in that, she's seeing me as an adult, not just her baby. I'll always be her baby, but it's a different perspective, a different lens that we kind of look at each other through now. Like, I get it. I didn't know. And because I didn't know, I couldn't understand.
Hmm.
You were parenting me through your hurts, through what you experienced, right? And I could only see it through, I'm broken. I don't have my dad. I am suffering, right? And I'm trying to figure out who I am as a young person in this world and also make a name for myself, right? So all of those things kind of played into our dynamic and who we are becoming, because we are still becoming as long as we have breath in our bodies.
Right.
Absolutely. So important. You said this. If we as adults can realize this, our parents are parenting us through their own life challenges,
Absolutely.
whatever that may be, whether they're self created or not, you
Right.
know, they are parenting us through our own life circumstances. And uh, depending on when you are able to realize that, that's when a true bond, I think, can come between you and your parents.
Absolutely. And I think there's also an acceptance that has to happen. You can't change it. There's nothing you can do to go back and
Mhm,
relive those times, whether you are remorseful or, still saddened or burdened in some point. At some
mhm,
point, you have to pray and say, okay, God, I surrender all. And this is not my burden to carry. And
Right.
Lord,
mhm,
heal me from my hurts, right? And
mhm,
that's when that brokenness is mended. That's when you begin to take steps forward. That's when you understand that I am not a victim to my circumstances or anything that has happened to me. I own it. I
mhm,
thrive from it. I choose to grow from it, right? And how can I lend that forward? What do I need to do differently in this space that I'm in today to show up differently, to be healed completely, and to love authentically, right? Because when you are in that place, you're able to have these conversations, right? You're able to put the mask down and say, okay, here's what I think. Help me understand, is this actually what you were thinking? Did you realize that that happened? And even through those conversations, there are going to be some times where your feelings are hurt because they don't remember, right? Because your experience was your experience, right? You're
yes.
like, how can you not remember that? That was like, oh my goodness. But
Mhm.
it's facts. It's facts.
Mhm. And I'm interested where you fall on this, but I noticed you said that you did not share with your mother about you being sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
Do you- Why didn't she know that? Why didn't you share?
We didn't have that kind of relationship, and I didn't think she would believe me,
Mm,
honestly.
mm,
Right? I think she was in a place, in a space of, you with your dad, so you're going to spend time with your dad. And they had issues. They didn't always see eye to eye, right? And if I disclosed that it happened on my dad's time, what would the repercussions be? Would she stop me from seeing my dad? Could I no longer go around? I couldn't
mm.
risk that in my mind as a young person,
Mhm.
right? Because my dad was my world.
Wow. I think that you were right, though. Not that she would have done that, but I think that you were right in caring about that, but I'm sad for the little bitty you who had to care about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at some level, even back then, you realize that you were living through your mother's reality.
Yeah. Yeah. And I knew that she had things as a young person that she was dealing with, right? She was in relationships, not all of them were great. She was dealing with my older brother, which Lord help us all, right? And then there was we had my great grandmother living with us at the time, right? She
Mhm.
brought my great grandmother, who is my hero, right? So I can definitely, like, uh, definitely understand that perspective. She lived. My great grandmother lived with us beginning at age 99, I think, or 100,
Wow.
and she lived with us until she passed away at 108, 109,
Wow.
right?
That's
So
Beautiful.
cute.
like that's not something else, right? It would have been something else. And she had a full plate. My brother
Mhm.
had kidney disease right after high school. He lost his kidneys. He was going through dialysis. That's hurtful, right? You're trying to
Mhm.
help him heal and go through all the things. So I was very cognizant of I don't want to be a burden, right?
Mm.
I don't want to feel as if I'm giving her more when she's already stretched thin. Was that my call? Absolutely not. Would I want my daughter to think that about me? Absolutely not, right?
Right.
Mhm.
That's hindsight.
That's so powerful. That is so powerful. Now, Colette, I can't say if you've been through anything sexual assault wise, but I do know this. I know that many Olympians, female Olympians, experience that type of activity. Did you hear any rumblings of that while you were training?
Um, there was rumors about athletes dating their coaches and being victims of molestation, but thank God it never happened to me. But there were rumors about like things like that happening in the sport. Yes.
Hmm. Do you think that's more prevalent today, or do you think it was more prevalent, long ago?
I think the prevalence doesn't balance out or higher or one more than the other. I think now with social media and things are
Hmm.
coming out instantaneously, it may seem like it's happening more now than it was back in the day, but it probably was the same amount of time. But people are more so into social media and posting, things what's happened to them and their experiences, and they have a safer platform to speak out, so to speak. It's
Hmm.
coming out more. It's being more prevalent now.
So you think a light is shining on that a little bit?
Yeah, I do
Mhm.
believe that. I think because for one, they've had like the gymnasts been able to speak out, and other athletes have spoken out, which gives that other those other athletes that's coming up who looking up those athletes be able to speak out as well. Yeah. And it's so instantaneous. They can pick up their phone, whenever if they're lonely and thinking about this, pick up their phone and they can Google or go to social media, whatever that platform is, and they can see someone that looks just like them has experienced those same things as that they've experienced, and how are they dealing with it? How are they being able to overcome or be able to give themselves a voice to speak up and get that help that they're needing?
Mm, wow. So right now they can speak up. Right now they can get the voice that they need. Do you think we're at a right place where accountability is going to happen when it comes to sexual assault?
Oh no, I think it's still growing with a lot of things that are going on within the women, and they're becoming stronger women and being able to fight for women's rights and equality. We still have a long way to go. We're still getting there, and we have a lot of strong individual and strong women that's voices that's speaking up for us.
Hmm.
And we're getting there. We're not there, but we're getting there, and it's going to be a continuous journey. It will be continuous.
It'll be continuous. Let me ask you. Let me ask you this. So you see, we are having this Men's Mental Health Summit on June 18th
Mm-hmm.
at 12 Central Standard Time, and one of the things that I feel that is a struggle is for women to both grow and be appreciated and have a place economically at the same time for for men to feel valued and to feel that they have a purpose and for them to have an identity. And really, prior to talking to so many men, I didn't understand how scared they feel,
Right.
how frustrated they feel, how unheard they feel. Did you know that men are committing suicide at an enormous rate? You know, they're outpacing women. They've been outpacing women for years. And it's not just in America, it's worldwide. And so, as I champion women, and I want us to grow, and I want us to have a place in this world. I don't want there to be this clash, you
Right.
know, with women versus men, um, for a man to be minimized or a woman to be minimized. I want us all to rise together, and I don't understand why we can't apply that logic when when the tide rises, everybody in the boat rises. There seems to be a mentality of lack, and it's breaking my heart.
Yeah, I feel like it's fear, right? It's fear of being stereotyped. It's fear of the unknown, of how is this going to impact my life, right? And then you have men that are in some households, they don't want to talk to their wives about that because it makes them appear and feel weak. Why
Mm,
though? What are the conversations that we are not having with our husbands, with our boyfriends, with our significant others, with our brothers, with our fathers, to allow them to put their guards down? Why has this become, um, I don't know, it's like taboo. And it's always been that way, right? But
Right.
even as women, right, we are moms and we work full time and we participate in Olympic sports and we win the golds and we do all these things, but we are the last person to take care of ourselves. And it's
mhm,
become so normal that we put ourselves last. That it's not okay. There's a time, and now is the time to
mhm,
realize that if we are not well, mind, body, spirit, we will not be successful. It's
mhm,
success is meaningless if you
mhm,
are in the hospital bed or
Yes.
worse in the coffin
mhm,
Yes.
because you have chosen to be silent or to ignore the signs that your body is giving us, right?
Right.
I think and I think I saw a comment, there's been progress, but not enough,
mhm,
right?
Right.
And I think that we need to hold ourselves and our households accountable to take care of ourselves. Else it doesn't happen, right? I am responsible for myself first.
mhm.
If my blood pressure, if I don't go do my wellness checks and ensure that my numbers are accurate, I am not taking care of myself and therefore I cannot take care of my children nor my husband,
Correct.
right?
As a woman, Carlette, do you think you have a responsibility to protect your husband?
I don't think I have a responsibility to protect my husband. I have a responsibility to be his teammate. I have a responsibility to be his number one cheerer, to cheer him on. And when he comes home and he says, "I had a bad day. This is what happened," just to sit there and listen to him, because I know that, I'm sorry, my husband's a strong man. I love him to death because he grew up. in a different environment than me. He lost his mother at the age of 14, so he had to take care of himself, and he's done a really good job of that. And he's very mature. He's a provider. He's a man's man, and I have to learn how to be quiet and be silent and listen to what he's saying, and not try to be this strong. I'm Olympian. I could do this. I could do that. But just listen to him and be like, okay, this is what he's saying. He's not gonna hurt me. He loves me. And then sometimes when he gets down, he's missing his mom. Just I have to know him to know enough to like he needs his time to himself right now. He's gonna come back and he's gonna talk to me when he's ready. You know,
Mhm.
and this is his home. This is his castle. So when he comes home, this is his peace. This is his safe ground. Because when he goes out there in that world, there's a lot of challenges for a black man. A lot of challenges. You know. So when he comes home, his home needs to be his peaceful, safe environment, wherever he needs in that home. And it's not my job, but it's my I can't find the right terms for it, but I'm his support, just like he's my support. And it's
Mhm.
not my job to be like, oh, well, you my protector, so why are you feeling that way? Just let him
Mhm.
know it's okay that you're feeling that way. I still love you. I still know that you're gonna protect me and your family. And you're gonna do what you need to do. But sometimes I know that you need to take that off your shoulders and just relax and just be at peace.
Mhm. Mhm. So, um, you don't feel a desire to protect your husband. Men definitely feel that they have a desire and a responsibility to protect women. And so I'm going to give the same question to you, Anastasia. Do you feel responsible for protecting your husband?
I am responsible for covering my husband.
Oh, that's
And
the
that
word.
covering
Mhm.
is protection, right? Um in our household we're truly leaning into God first,
Mhm.
husband, then me, right? But wherever Corey needs me, whether that be is in front, beside, or behind, I'm
Mhm.
there, right?
Mhm.
And it's up
Mhm.
to me and him, right? Him to communicate to me to understand and take the place where he needs me to be. There comes a time where I do need to be his protection, and that's protection from outside influences. I am the voice that he should hear, encouraging, uplifting,
Yeah.
supporting, right?
Mhm.
Pushing sometimes, right? I am also the voice that he should hear, babe, that's not the right option. That's not now. Not,
Mhm.
at this. I am called to do that for him. I am his covering.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, that's very good. That is very good. Um, do you feel a sense of responsibility to provide for your husband?
No.
He said no.
No, no. Now, are there times where, if necessary, I
Uh-huh.
will take my place. But no, I don't need to provide for him. He provides for himself. And
Mhm.
the Lord provides for him. I don't need to. I take care of wherever there is a gap. He is the yin to my yang.
Mhm.
Where he is missing something, I got it, and it's vice
Mhm.
versa. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But I would never tell that man that I need to provide for him. He'd probably kick me out of the house. No, absolutely not.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Okay. All right. All right. And so I asked that question, and this is why, because um you both live in very patriarchal, traditional households, and I've heard two numbers. I've heard a 70-30 split, and I've heard the idea 100% it's on you. I'll give you a story. This is from the 100% it is on you side. There was a woman, she came from money. Um, and she was used to living a certain lifestyle. The man was um, a beautiful provider. They had always had um, a appropriate standard of living, but it came a time that he lost his job. Okay, and He was frustrated, and he was straight stressed out, and he said to her, you know, I need you to work. I need you to get a job. I'm not able to. And she refused. She said, absolutely not. She said, I am uh I'm your wife. You are to protect me, and you're to provide for me. I am to serve you and support you as a woman. She said, I cannot all of a sudden turn into two people. And she refused.
Mm.
She refused to go outside of uh, the home and working. And she said, I don't all of a sudden get to stop being a helpmeet and a woman to you. All of my duties are not going to, disappear just because I work outside the home. And this was a bone of contention. What do you say to a situation like that? Is she wrong? Is she right?
Anastasia, you
Mm.
want to go first?
Yeah, I can give it a shot. Listen, I feel a lot of different ways about that, right? Because in my mind, depending on the era or age of this woman, that's how she's raised, that's what she knows, that's what she's accustomed to. Um, in my household, I'm going to work. Because
Mhm,
what I won't do is allow our entire unit, what we built, and I say that I love you and I'm in love with you and we have a covenant and we're going to keep this covenant. I'm not going to let that fall to the wayside. This is where I'm called to support. This
mhm,
is part of my covering, right?
mhm,
Um, I think it's hard to be raised one way and then learn to grow another way, because that's what that seems to me to be, right? She would need to grow to be something different, to take on who her husband needed her to be at that moment. And it wouldn't be for him to say this is going to be always, you're going to always work. No, it's a season, right? This is a season that we need to go into together. And it happens, life happens,
Yes.
and we can't predict it. And so we have to be willing to go in. And I call it 100. You gonna give 100, I'm gonna give 100, right? And
Mhm.
why I think you said, Erica, that we are a patriarchal household. Well,
mhm,
just last weekend I cut the grass and he cooked, right? So I mean, we do what needs to be done
mhm,
in this household, right? And I love for my daughters to see that,
mhm,
right? It's great to have a husband that loves you, supports you, gives you all the great things, but
mhm,
also know that there may come a time where you need to do something that's not in your comfort zone,
mhm.
right? He taught
Right.
me how to cut the grass. He also taught me how to use a drill, and I put together my new garden bed in the back, right? I put it
All right
together
now.
because that was something that I didn't want him to have to do,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
He works all day. He's military. He does all the things. I'm here. I can do it, right? It's not
Right.
a lie. But that's a choice that I made. I've always had an independent streak about me, right? And I don't want to depend on anyone for 100% of everything.
Mhm.
Um, that's just me though.
Does independence ever get in the way of being seen as feminine?
It has. It can if you allow it,
Mhm,
right? I'm
Mhm.
still very feminine. I still like my hugs and my snuggles. And when I pout, I need you to hug me and tell me it's baby, it's gonna be okay.
Yes.
you know
Mhm.
um but we have to choose when we're going to be. And my husband, oh my gosh, it's probably a bad story, but at one point in our marriage he was calling me a dude. He's like, man, you're such a dude, because I was so independent and so strong-willed and so strong natured that he's like, will you just give me a chance to be a man, right? Can you just sit
Wow.
down somewhere, right? But that was my lesson. That
Yes.
was, Stacy, it's okay to soften. It's okay to allow him to help you. And you have to put voice to it. You can't assume that this man knows what you want. That's
Right.
our problem. We assume that you should know I want flowers on Friday.
Yes. And you get
So
flowers on
tell
Friday.
him, babe, can you give me some flowers on Friday? And once he gets used to you asking every week, and it somewhere down the line, he gonna figure out, let me get this girl some flowers before I go home.
Yeah.
You know?
Carla, did you get your flowers on Friday?
I haven't voiced flowers on Friday. but no, I haven't voiced it. But and so you made a lot of good points. I was shaking my head, yes, because that is so true. And you said that because my husband has said that too. Like which one are you? Are you the man or the woman? Like let me know because I can step back. You want to take on his own, you can do it. So I can relate to that one. Yes, I can relate to that. And going back to the 100%, I think it has to be a negotiation. I think I don't see myself being in the house 24/7 taking care of my daughter. That would drive me up the wall. And then when he comes home, I would drive him up the wall because I've been home all day not doing anything. Not I we all have lives. We all have lives, and I I want to work. I need to work.
She said, "I want to work, and I need to work." But I noticed
Listen.
both of you. I noticed both of you jumped on in where your man has told you that your independence is a breed of being masculine.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that has to go
interesting.
with.
And it actually hurt my feelings. I'm like, I'm not. What are you talking about? Like, I'm soft. And he's like, no, you're not.
Mm-mm.
No, you're not. But that was like, and it wasn't that it was a problem because obviously we're still married, but it was a learning opportunity for me, right? To really understand that I didn't have to be all the things that I had been in the past.
Mhm.
Yes.
I could
Mhm.
put down my guards and allow him to do what he does and allow him to mess up because he's
Hmm.
not going to get it right all the time.
Right.
And how are you going to respond to that, right? You're going to be like rough and tough and get out of my house because you didn't remember, No, you have to come to a level of engagement, understanding, commitment, and communication. Communication, 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 right? And you can
That's true.
explain this is why I've been this way. This is why I have this thing and allow him to kind of feed into that.
Now, Carlette, I noticed you said that I feel like this is submission, uh, which is not a bad thing, but I feel like that you submit to your husband when he comes home because he needs a place to suppress. I'm sorry,
Uh,
no, decompress, decompress.
decompress. Yeah. I guess I don't know about the word submit, but I do give him his time.
Girl, what is wrong? What? You know what?
Why
No,
is submit so
I
hard?
say submit. Don't submit. Come on.
Yes.
Submission is not bad.
Yes.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to have a bunch of people coming after me. But they,
But it's
none
okay.
of the Bible
It's the
believing
same
folks
thing.
that submission is, listen, the man, shh, but the
Yes.
man has to submit to the woman too.
Yes. Yes.
But women, you have to submit to your man. I don't know how you're gonna stay faithful if you're not gonna submit. But anyway, why is the S word a curse word? It's like pig sports submission.
I think it's just I guess for me growing up around a lot of strong women, I have to learn that I'm in a safe environment and it's okay. It's okay to submit. It's okay because he loves me unconditionally. He's gonna provide to me, and yes, he does submit to me too, like you said. He does those things. I just have to like I said, it has to go through security within myself and knowing that I'm safe and it's okay that I don't have to do everything on my own anymore. I have somebody there that's going to do that for me, and I'm not going to have to do anything back, give anything back to him. He's not expecting anything else because he loves me, and he's going to do those things for me because he loves me, and we are a team, and we do things for each other.
There you go. Brandy agrees with me. She said you do submit. Don't she said don't run away from that S word.
Yes, that's true, Brandy. Yes.
Look, y'all back there with Beyonce playing in your head, talking about y'all killing me. It's okay. It is okay. All right. I want to play us a video. Oh gosh, it did not upload. Let me see if I can make it upload because I really want us to listen to this gentleman because we use really simple terms. We talk about boundaries, and we did a lot of talk tonight. I don't know if you saw the previous program, but oh my God, was Carrie magnificent? Carrie was magnificent. She's an expert on narcissism. She's a psychologist. Hold on one second. I'll bring her up again. She has a book that's called Love You More. Hold on one second. Where is it? Where'd go? Okay. Carrie, she was just fabulous, and she gave us a list, and she talked about hoovering, she talked about flying monkeys, and it was all about narcissism, and then just how to navigate that. And while I'm pulling up pictures, let me just give you this. Look at our girl here. Look at that form. Look at that form. Look at that beautiful Olympic woman there. Carlette, I can see why you are a gold medalist. I'm just saying.
Thank you. Thank you.
I can see that. And then I want to highlight before I forget, because I wanted to ask you this question. You made note and you said, I have to be soft. I'm not this Olympian. I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you have to minimize your accomplishments in order to make him feel like the leader?
No, I do not. I just
Mhm.
have to know. I have to know my boundaries. Say to speak, like if he's with me and we're somewhere, someone notices me and they come up to me, and start talking to me, it's my place to say, "This is my husband," and introduce him to this is my husband, and not just be like, "Oh, hi," and talk about my lippy and all this here, and he's standing to the side there. No, this is my husband. He's going to join us into this conversation because this is my gold medal now. This is what
I
Aww.
love that. Come
yes.
on, girl. That's my
Aww.
gold medal. Yes.
Yes, give me all kinds of snaps. Yes, that was some good stuff. I like that. This is my gold medal now, baby. This is my real
This
win.
is
You know
it.
what, Carlette, you are like that because you said that uh, you are thankful and you are honored to be a wife and mother. You
Mm.
said that so many times during our conversation. Let's check out this video together, and I want to get your thoughts on it. I'll see you on the other side.
Sometimes we get hurt because we're placing the wrong people in the right rooms of our heart. And I'll just echo what I stated before. You can be a whole package. I mean, a whole one. But if you end up at the wrong address, the receiver will mishandle you. Why? Because you're at the wrong place. Like, misplaced people will really have us out here second guessing ourselves. Misplaced people will really have us out here thinking that we're asking for too much. But truth is, they can't offer much. Could the problem be that you're seeking validation from somebody who's not even valid for your destiny? So now I have heartache because I keep misplacing people. Pain prevention is tied to people being properly placed. So I believe we have partners, parasites, projects, and pawns. Your projects, these are people you just help. Like, we are not looking to build a bond. I'm looking where to place bricks. We are building something. I am in your life simply to help, not to date you. You don't date projects. This is just an assignment, not an alignment. And my sisters have a higher probability of misplacing people when it comes to this category because you have been wired to help. That pain hits different when you're helping somebody that's not going to be yours. This is why knowing your value is so important before they arrive. Because if you helping them gives you significance, you risk confusing your contribution as confirmation. This is God's will. This was meant to be, not necessarily. This is somebody that you just help. When you understand and know your value, you know there is a level of help that you only will get when you call me wife and I call you husband. Period. There are levels to help, and that level of help, that only comes when I'm your wife. We're building something, not bonding something. Number 2, parasites. Your parasitic people, they live off of you. Their survival is off of draining you. I want you to actually think of a parasite. Think of a leech. They attach themselves to host. You give me life. This is a reason why a lot of exes keep coming back, because you helped me be sustained. I lived off of you. And when you get the understanding and wisdom on when somebody is parasitic and you establish boundaries or even separate yourself from a relationship, don't feel bad. Never feel bad for severing a relationship when it was God who handed you the scissors. And you don't have to get them back. Resist vengeance. Because if we be honest, if you were to give them a taste of their medicine, oh, they would swear that you poisoned them. This type of relationship, they will be careless while you're stressed out. Like,
My goodness.
I like that. That's
That's some
very
good stuff, right?
Woo,
yes.
that was
My daughter
so
needs
good.
that video.
Uh, you know what? Listen, that's some good fathering right there. That's some good fathering.
Yes.
You know what? Hashtag we need dads. We need men to be men. We need men to be men. You know, hashtag positive masculinity.
My
I
goodness.
lift up men for the strength and perspective that they bring. And it's not that women cannot do that. We just don't do it exactly the way they do it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, so I see you both enjoyed it. Tell me your takeaway, Carlette.
Oh, I was still into it. I
She
think I think what he says is really powerful about the parasites, by how you lift somebody up, and when you let them go, they come back just because you're lifting them up, and then they're looking for that lift up again. That's just like that they're emotionally draining you. And I think that's I think we all have been that way before we matured and become who we become now, and met the right person that's in our lives now. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what say you? What say you, Stacy?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. He said, and I am going to mess this up, but allowing people to validate you when they don't have real value.
Woo-hoo.
My God. I said, wait, don't do how wait, ease me into this thing, right?
Mhm.
Like, my goodness, how often do we seek validation from people that have no significant value, no stake in the ground as to who they are and who they are needing to be, right? And
Mhm,
we don't even truly know our own value, but we're letting these people attach value to us.
mhm.
Like, come, that preaches right there. That preaches in several different ways, and I love the breakdown of the different people, projects, parasites.
Mhm,
How often have we thought as women, I'm going to put my all into this because this is so worth it? And it was a project, it was a temporary project. God sent you in that moment to help that person. And this goes not just in male female relationships, but friendships. And Colette, you said it before, a reason, a season, or a lifetime,
Yes.
right? That
Mhm.
reason is just for right now. We get in our feelings and stuck when those relationships come to a natural end. We try to force it and it doesn't fit anymore. There was so much meat in that small clip. Like, it could go on
mhm.
replay and I
Yes.
guarantee you'll get something out of it
Something
again.
different.
My goodness.
Hmm.
It's
So
good to
good.
look. This is what woman to woman is about. This is
Oh,
what it is
good.
about. I have to tell you. And then you guys did a beautiful job. I want to point this out. I'm talking to my women. Not that men don't do this, but I'm talking to my women. Don't bust the windows out his car.
Mm.
That
Okay.
key.
And I said that jokingly, but figuratively in your mind. Take
Yeah.
away that pain. This
Mhm.
man said, do not pick back up the scissors.
Yes.
I am tell you, let it go and let God truly, truly, to anybody, whether it's a man or a woman,
Yes.
let them go be them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that gets into
Yeah.
the word, right? Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. It's not for me to go back
Mm.
and try to get that person back. It
Nope. Keep
Exactly.
don't.
moving.
It always comes back anyway. You look back and they still in the same place that they were 10 years ago. Okay? It comes
Right.
back.
Even if they not, even listen, we paint that picture like just because somebody did us wrong, that all of a sudden they're going to be derelict and dumb.
Fact.
Maybe they are going to appear to be successful. It does not matter what they are
It's not
doing.
our business. You're right.
No.
It's not our business. Let it go.
Keep moving.
Forgiveness is for us. It is for the
Yeah.
forgiver. You
So
know,
good.
you can't drink poison and expect somebody else to die.
No.
Facts.
Just let it go and let God and let it be. What I'm gonna tell you what to worry about. Worry about your lessons.
Ooh.
Worry about what God is trying to tell you during that particular journey that He allowed you to go on.
Exactly.
And the
That's
thing about God is you'll
mhm.
keep in that circle and that cycle
Till
until
you
you
get
learn
it.
the lesson.
Till you
Until
get
you
it.
get it. I have probably said this, I don't know, 100 times on this show, but I'm going to say it again. My biggest prayer, my most frequent prayer is this: Father God, please don't let me make the same mistakes over and over again. If I make it, I want to be done with it. Yes,
That's
yes.
right.
You give
Mhm.
me,
That's
look,
right.
give me a pound, I give you a pound back.
Yeah.
Bam. Hey, just please don't let me make the same mistakes over and over again. I've got to give it up. You know what? It has been a wonderful night. Woman to Woman has been delicious. I am sitting here this evening with a Olympic gold medalist. I am sitting here today with a cancer survivor, a author, a wife, and a mother. Wait a minute, not wait a minute. My Olympic gold medalist is a wife and a mother, and her husband is her gold medal. Okay,
Okay.
let me get it right. Let me get it right. But my point is, family. My point is, family. I have surrounded myself in greatness, and I simply feel honored.
Thank you
I
for
Thank
having us.
you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And due to the encore, I am going to go ahead and play this video for you one more time. And but I'll go ahead and I'll say good night. Bye bye for now, family.
Bye bye.
See, sometimes we get hurt because we're placing the wrong people in the right rooms of our heart. And I'll just echo what I stated before. You can be a whole package. I mean, a whole one. But if you end up at the wrong address, the receiver will mishandle you. Why? Because you're at the wrong place. Like, misplaced people will really have us out here second guessing ourselves. Misplaced people will really have us out here thinking that we're asking for too much. But truth is, they can't offer much. Could the problem be that you're seeking validation from somebody who's not even valid for your destiny? So now I have heartache because I keep misplacing people. Pain prevention is tied to people being properly placed. So I believe we have partners, parasites, projects, and pawns. Your projects, these are people you just help. Like, we are not looking to build a bond. I'm looking where to place bricks. We are building something. I am in your life simply to help, not to date you. You don't date projects. This is just an assignment, not an alignment. And my sisters have a higher probability of misplacing people when it comes to this category because you have been wired to help. That pain hits different when you're helping somebody that's not going to be yours. This is why knowing your value is so important before they arrive. Because if you helping them gives you significance, you risk confusing your contribution as confirmation. This is God's will. This was meant to be. Not necessarily. This is somebody that you just help. When you understand and know your value, you know there is a level of help that you only will get when you call me wife and I call you husband. Period. There are levels to help. And that level of help, that only comes when I'm your wife.
You're winning. You're winning.